it's starting. Oh, it is. I'm just gonna click that so I can hear things. Hello, I am live. I am hoping it is working. It has been a little while since I have done any lives in the group. So who knows? Let's hope it's working. Anyway, so if you're here, comment something, anything. No, comment me how old your whippet is. Do they counter surf? But I'm keeping an eye, making sure it's actually doing something. Fingers crossed it is. There's not many of you here at the minute, so I will just keep chatting. Oh, there's someone. Super, it is working then. That's always the best start. So, oh yeah, there it goes. It's pinging through. I think I'm on a bit of a delay. So if you're here, let me know how old your whippet is. Hey Danny, thank you. Let me know how old your whippet is. Are they having any issues with counter surfing? Just while we wait for a few people to rock up and find the live. Counter surfing is definitely a whippet sort of problem, sighthound sort of problem, I think is probably fairer to say. So feel free, tell me, does your whippet counter surf? Do they do it? We've definitely had counter surfing whippets in my house. Marley, who's in that photo, used to love counter surfing. It's good fun. Super. So this will be recorded, so even if you are not live, and yeah, even if you're not live or you have to pop off, it will be here later, nonetheless. So I will get started with some tips and advice, what to do, what not to do. I've got Sasha, it's 18 months old, and she constantly counter surfs, okay? Constantly sounds a lot. I think the fun is, which I'll say, as a general thing, the fun is that they only need one payoff for counter surfing and it becomes like a full-time job. Whippets sort of take it upon themselves to see it as, their job in the house. They're going to make sure that your counters are clean and tidy. Because if they're not, they're going to come and take your stuff, essentially. Whippets are the right kind of shape to get on counters. My Jack Russell, I obviously had no issues, none, with counter surfing. So counter surfing, if you don't know what on earth I'm talking about, is your whippets getting onto the counters and stealing things. Everything is usually the right kind of height for a whippet. And if they get it once, they're going to keep doing it. So there was a lot of you in the group who said that your whippets counter surf and you've tried lots of different things and the different things weren't working, or you weren't sure exactly what you should be doing to reduce that counter surfing and make your life a bit easier. So there are always two sort of main components that we're going to do when we're training anything. And that is management and that is behaviour modification. Where is your jumper from? I don't know. I got it as a Christmas gift. I will try and find out. That's probably something I should have paid attention to when I got it. I think they're meant to be whippets. I'm not sure if they look whippety. So, well, two main components. We've got management and training. And the part where I see us often, and I say us because I've done it myself in the past, the part where I see us often having the problems is that management part. Because if we've got a whippet and they are enjoying counter surfing, it's a very self-rewarding behaviour. So if you've tried ignoring it, I can almost guarantee that they are just going to keep doing it, because they're not doing it for your attention necessarily. They are doing it because at some point they think there's going to be something on that counter. So what I mean by management is we need to make sure they're not rehearsing it, because every time they do it, they're going to be more likely to do it. They're going to want to get on that counter, check out what's going on, because there's always that small chance something could be there. Dogs are essentially gamblers. If it paid off just once, they will keep doing it, and they will keep doing it. I say this as a voice of experience. They will keep doing it. Many years ago, Marley, one of my whippets, worked out how to get in the fridge. I can promise you it only took once for Marley to think the best game ever was to try and get in the fridge. And it's something he would have happily continued to do day and day until we got tiled locks for the fridge, because it worked once. Oh, and it really worked. He had a great time in that fridge. So what we need to do is restrict their access in some way to the counters or anything on the counters. You know, we're Whippet trained household now. There is nothing on the counters. If there is, it's really like pushed to the back. Things can go in, you know, cupboards, off microwaves, anything and everything. So one simple management solution is we put everything out of the way. I don't think that's going to stop every Whippet, because they're going to still jump up. For a lot of us, we don't want them jumping up and looking either. I might be wrong, but I know for, you know, my household, we don't like it when the Whippets are jumping on the counters, because they're coming in from the garden, they've got muddy feet, it's not very pleasant. So we want to do management, and management could be that when we are not able to supervise them, then we are restricting their access to the kitchen or any counters that we feel they might be able to get hold of. And that could be through gates. We've got gates like kiddie gates into the kitchen. We have the extra tall ones because, as I'm sure many of you know, Whippets can, at least in my house, jump the normal sized gates. Maybe it's just my Whippets are really determined. Tell me if I'm wrong. But we've got the extra tall safety gate going into the kitchen, which means if I am not able to supervise them, they're not in the kitchen, because I don't want them to accidentally either hit the jackpot and find something I've unintentionally left there in a hurry, or I don't want them constantly jumping at those counters. So I'm either going to use gates, crates, doors, whatever I need to in the early parts of that training, because I don't want them to keep doing it. I don't want them to learn to keep doing it. And, you know, sounds sometimes like it's, you know, not a lot of excitement. Training isn't always. It doesn't sound like it's addressing it, but the behavior is very self-reinforcing. If they keep doing it, they're going to keep doing it. What I'm not going to do, you know, is I'm not going to shout at them. I'm not going to bring in any sort of aversives when they are counter surfing, because there is a lot of fallback to that. You know, Whippets are very sensitive. I don't want to be shouting at them. I don't want to be spraying them with water or rattling a noise, because that's going to affect other aspects of their life later, and it's going to affect their relationship with me, and I don't want that to happen. So if they are jumping up, what I possibly would do is teach them an off cue, which is really quite easy to teach. You know, I could do it with, I'll pop a link in the group later actually. I teach that, and then if they're on the counters, I say off. They get off, they get rewarded, and they're probably going to get taken out of the kitchen if, you know, I've spotted them doing it and I'm not supervising them. But I'm not gonna get mad at them. Internally I might be. Internally I might be very unhappy, but there's no use in showing it because they don't understand, and it's a self-reinforcing behaviour. So we've got the management aspect of it. What we want to do and what we don't always do is that training aspect, which is I want to teach my dogs that we don't go on the counters. I want to teach them it so they don't go on the counters. And that means I'm not going to wait for them to go on the counters. So very often what we do as owners is we do what we call like reactive training. We go, oh no, you're on the counters, get off. Oh no, you're, you know, pulling something out of a cupboard, stop it. What we want to be doing is training so they don't do that, ideally, in some cases, so they don't do it in the first place. Lost my train of thought. I talk too fast. My brain can't keep up sometimes. So we want to train them that we don't go on the counters. And the easiest way to train this is to do some mat training with them. Bed training, you might have seen it called boundary training, whatever it is. We are teaching our dogs to lay on a bed, or a blanket, a mat, whatever it might be. And we want to build lots of value in this mat training. You know, it's not overly complicated to teach in my experience. You want to teach it away from the kitchen. You're going to get a mat. You're going to reward them for sitting on it, rewarding them for being on it. It's a really basic run through of it. You're going to get them used to the idea this mat is really amazing. And then you're going to have a mat in your kitchen or a bed or whatever you fancy. And then you're going to train them in the kitchen to be on that mat. You're going to reward them for choosing to go on that mat, staying on that mat while you walk away. Then introducing the layers of, I'm dealing with food. There's food on the side, or God, anything, you know, whippets, whippets like anything. Maybe Arkle would love a pen. Why is my dog obsessed with pens? Is anyone else's? I could put a pen on the side. I could put something on the side, and I'm then gonna maybe reward him for not just getting up and launching across the room at it. I might then add some distance and reward him for staying on that mat. Because if he knows that he just has to stay on a mat to get paid, he's going to stay on that mat to get paid. He is going to learn that that pays off more than free roaming everywhere else. And what we're doing is sort of building that up. So we're building the layers up so they understand that, I see your comment, but I'll lose my train of thought. I'll come back to it. We want them to understand that they don't need to, you know, be on the counters. They get paid for being on that mat. It's a really good skill. It's going to really help. And it's going to help in lots of ways. I'm just going to read this comment. I do this all on my phone, and it's not always very friendly with me. It's not just counters. I took my boy to a new friend's house on Christmas Day, and she had nibbles on the coffee table, which were promptly moved to a higher level. He managed to jump up and almost stole a grape. I just couldn't stop him. So mat training is going to be really helpful then, because you can take a bed to your friend's house. You can take, that's why I love mat training. You can take your bed to your friend's house, to cafe, to vet, to wherever you need to, and they're going to learn that they are going to someone else's dog is obsessed with pens, hair clips and TV remotes. Arkle's all those except TV remotes. But the mat is great because it's going to be portable. They're not just going to learn it in the kitchen. They can learn it anywhere and everywhere. I take mats with me with all my dogs to all sorts of places. We use it for training around distractions. They're learning that just staying on that mat is going to pay off more than their desire to do something else. So we could do that mat work, you know, just in the kitchen, but we could do it in the living room. We could start to pair it with leaving some food, some natural self-control. There's loads of ways we can progress that, because it's definitely not always just our houses. With whippets, taking them places is full of distractions. Distinctly remember going somewhere with family for a meal with one of my dogs who never, ever countersurfed. And I thought it would be really funny to encourage my whippet to jump on the table. Not 4 feet on, but 2 feet on. And that was, you know, while I wasn't looking. I was not impressed. So from there on, we took a mat, because my dogs don't stray off their mat, even when other people try and tease them off mats. So the mat training is going to be really helpful. But even if you didn't want to use a mat, you could still have your distractions on the counter. You want to reward good choices. And in that situation, it might just be you're keeping 4 feet on the floor. You're not being impulsive. You're not doing the thing you want to do. I am going to pay you. It could be that when we can't train, because I know that that's a big problem. People tell me, they're like, Zara, I don't have time to train my dog constantly. Which I totally understand. Management is more than acceptable. It doesn't have to be that crate and that gate. You know, if I'm busy in the kitchen and I can't, for whatever reason, separate my dog out, or I'm at someone else's house and I can't separate them out and the mat training isn't there yet, I might take a chew, I might take a really long-lasting chew, kongs, licky mats, the things that my dogs enjoy, just to keep them busy and not rehearsing that less than favourable behaviour. But honestly, the training on a mat is one of my favourite things to teach. I think it's really helpful, it's really beneficial, not just with counter surfing, but I could probably solve many problems by teaching dogs to settle on a mat. Because you've got the portability, they know it's a portable boundary, so they don't step off until you say otherwise. They know that it's a safe space, so if I've got a nervous dog, they know no one is going to invade their space on it. And it keeps them physically almost grounded, because they can't be jumping up on a crazy, usually, when they're on it. So, you know, I think mat training would be why, because a few of you had that concern that it's not just at your house, it's when you're going other places. So I think that the mat training is a really good way to move forward with that. It's going to ensure that they understand that feet on the floor really gets them loads more. It's a case of, if you are consistent enough with it, they absolutely will get it. One of my whippets, Arthur, I was really, really determined. He was never ever going to jump on anything. And do you know what? He never did. He never jumped on anything. So in my house, when we were out, having meals or anything, you could leave anything on the side and he would just be like, oh, that's nice. It's not for me. Because I didn't allow him to rehearse it. I was really on it and, for lack of a better word, like strict in that I was on it. I was making sure I was training him or managing him, and he just never learned to jump all over my counters, unlike Marley, who has taken a lot of training. So it's definitely possible, and it's definitely something they can get the hang of. I think what I would do is teach a really good off cue, which I will post in the group at some point this evening, because that's going to be just a really quick way to get them off the surfaces. Great if your whippets jump up people too. I know quite a few of you have kangaroo whippets who like to jump up people, so that's definitely going to help in quite a few respects. Then you're going to manage a situation, not allowing them to, have the access, have the opportunity, whether you're managing them with gates, crates, pens, whatever you need to do, or licky mats, chews, whatever it might be. But then you're going to do that training of rewarding for not jumping up on the counters, for not doing less than good things, and keeping either their feet on the floor or on the mat. It's a really quick overview, but I would say it's got everything you need. Don't ask me any questions, because that didn't take me long. Ask any questions on counter surfing. Do you have any questions? What does your hello? Oh, things are popping up. My boy's almost 8 months. Am I too late? No, definitely not. Definitely not. There's going to be a bit of a reinforcement history, so it's always going to be a tiny bit trickier. But 8 months old is quite young. In the grand scheme of things. One of my dogs was a rescue that I got at 8, one of my Jack Russells, and he'd learnt tons of stuff as an 8 from 8 to 14. So it's definitely never too late, as long as you're nice and consistent and you put the time in with that training, and they will quite enjoy that training, to be fair. I think my whippets quite enjoy getting paid for sitting on a mat and not doing anything. I think they think it's some easy pay. So I definitely wouldn't worry that they are 8 months and they've had some reinforcement history, because as long as we're nice and consistent from here on in, we're definitely going to get some good results. I hope that's helped. Any more? Oh gosh, I'm always clicking the wrong thing. I'm not good at this sometimes. I'm going to blame my phone. So, does anyone have any more questions on counter surfing? Because I do think, especially this time of year, we're all going out, seeing family, friends, and there's extra tasty things on the counters. It's definitely something that's always relevant at this time of year. So it's pretty, tricky to manage it now, but maybe sort of get your Christmases done, Zara. Get your New Year's done, get your holidays finished, and then get a good start on that training in the new year, because that's going to be a good time to get started, get things in action, get into new habits. Let's see, any more questions? No. Oh, okay, super. Oh, that didn't take me very long at all. That's why I like doing these. It's so easy. This would have taken me ages of typing. Maybe I'm just a really slow typer. Let's have a look. I must have been doing some mat training, and he runs and sits on it and is enthusiastic, so I'll carry on. Brilliant. That's really good. That's what you really want. And then you want to layer in little bits of distractions, just little distractions here and there. Super. Right. In which case, I think that's counter surfing done. So this will be recorded, so if you missed any of it, if you've joined halfway through, you should be able to come back and watch it. I think that should go through straight away. I will pop the little link on teaching the off cue in the group, and you'll let me know how you get on with that. And if you're watching this in the future, as it were, you can ask questions still, and I'll try and zip back to them later. You might be best off tagging me, because sometimes when it's on the lives, it just disappears. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you all enjoyed it. I will find out where this came from. I'm not sure. I will find out for you. You all have a lovely evening, and yeah, see you again soon, I hope. Bye, everyone.